We're now, I'm not counting, but probably about 2 months into this strange pandemic that is affecting everybody, and in different ways, of course, according to your makeup, according to who you are, perhaps challenging you, perhaps confirming so much of what you already know. But it's clearly something very large, you could call it almost universal, um, impacting the entirety of the human race, and in many ways the entire planet. And it's so interesting to watch everyone trying to feel out what they should do or not do in relationship to what's going on. And as I've said in previous talks, any newspaper or magazine or TV show you turn on will be giving you advice, all kinds of advice. New puzzles to do, new television shows that are streaming. The suggestions are endless, and so I don't really want to add to an endless stream of suggestions, but I will tell you this. I was reading the newspaper the other day, which I do, and somewhere stumbled across somebody saying that there was something they referred to as intelligence, an intelligence in all of this. And I started to cry because I often think of that which creates all this as an ocean of love. I talk about beauty, I talk about truth. And I feel all of those realities vibrantly alive in my day-to-day. But I hadn't thought of the word intelligence. And I don't know why it was so emotionally powerful for me. But it's really what I feel, that there is something beyond our understanding that is the source of all wisdom, a guiding power that knows it all, if you will. And that intelligence is at work. I know it's at work. And because I feel that intelligence, because I sense its presence all the time, even when I vacillate or lose touch or get confused or have emotional moments, I keep coming back to this sense of overriding knowledge that this universe knows what it's doing. Essentially, that we are in good hands. What's wanted, really, more than anything, in dealing with intelligence is trust. Some people call it faith, that you believe in it. Trust is something else. Trust is going, thy will be done. Knowing that at some phenomenal, unknowable and inexplicable way, that which must be is. And at a moment like this, when we are all being stopped in our tracks, you can feel the imprint of intelligence. Your mind-body construct may not like it, may not get it, may not appreciate it, may feel threatened by it even. But somewhere deep inside, there is something that if you can allow yourself to go to that space, it will know and trust the reality of this moment. We are on a journey, and trusting the journey is all we can do. Of course, you have a choice of not trusting it. The difference between trusting it and not trusting it is perhaps best defined as a sense of well-being or stress, anxiety, fear, unhappiness, drama, and everything that comes with not trusting. In a way, it's a choice. Most people would have to make that choice, I suppose, with their mind, maybe a little bit with their heart. But who's making that choice? Well, it's usually the mind-body construct we know of as ego. The biggest thing driving ego is desire, fear, comfort. It's probably 1,000 other nouns you can throw out at it. But the thing that most governs the ego mind itself is a subterranean fear of death as something really horrible to be avoided at all cost, to be feared at all times, or as much as possible distracting oneself from that fear so one can continue to move forward in life. But there is always an existential space in us that is, from an ego point, a cause of terror. We will cease to exist. But let me remind you of a bargain that was made. You may not remember making the bargain. Most of us do not. But the bargain was, I am, and I shall give you life, but only temporarily. I will give you a taste of this manifested universe with the understanding that you will at some point let it go and come back to me. Built in, we are all of us, on loan to the experience of life. Most of us forget that. We forget it to the drudgery of life, or to the repetitiveness of life, or to the mundane struggles of life. We walk through life as though it's like a prison, or like it's a sentence, or like it's an obligation, or there's a million ways to look at living in this world. But reality is, it is a gift on loan. And if you forget that it's a gift on loan, every so often it will throw something into your face that will say, wake up. Remember what this is. This is temporary. It is given for however long, and it is taken away. Manifestation involves feeling and sensation. And there are feelings that we find in this world that are everything we could imagine we would want. Joy, pleasure, sexual orgasmic reality. All of these things draw us into this remarkable space. And then there's the opposite side of that coin, which is pain and suffering. Again, part of the bargain. Would you make this bargain knowingly? My instinct says you have already done that. You have already made the bargain to come here, knowingly, intelligently, because you are going to get to see a sunrise, have unbelievably great sex, or maybe not such great sex, but taste what it means to touch other in depth. You will get to taste ice cream. You will have the joy of a great TV show or a wonderful movie or a beautiful concert. You will have trees in bloom. You will have the loss of everything and the return of everything in cycles that are so exquisite. On and on. Would you have made this bargain? I think so. Have you made this bargain? I think so. Do you trust what you've done? I don't know. I don't know if you've trusted. I think a lot of you now go, what did I do? Where did I get myself into? Especially as you get older, because the time to be taken out of all of this is approaching more and more and more. And a lot of people go, what did I do? Why did I do this? This is terrible, the suffering that's going to come. Other people go, I got to go on a cruise, although maybe not today, but I got to go on a trip. I got to see parts of the world. I've got to have these experiences. Or some of you may just go, I just want to sit here and look out the window. I want to see the birds flying. I want to go for a walk. I want to smell the air. I want to watch another sunset. It can come down to very, very simple things. But the reality is we are here for a choice that we made, and we can either trust that we did the right thing or not. The word trust is really interesting because it involves this level of intelligence that's either working well for you or not. There are different kinds of intelligence. There is intellect. Intellect. For some of us, our intellect is working really well. We watched it a lot when we were kids in school, and memorizing things and putting things into it and extrapolating things and learning things and understanding numerical possibilities and schematics of the world and designing an understanding of life itself. But we also knew pretty early on that intelligence is an expanding thing, and you can learn more and more and more and more until, in a way, you fill up the bookshelves. There comes a point where you just can't hold any more knowledge or information, in a way. But if you have an opportunity to go deeper into the source of intelligence, you will discover, kind of like Google, that you can take all of that information in your brain and store it in the cloud. Store it away. It would be accessible to you at any time, but you don't need to keep it here. That's a deeper intelligence. It's a stored intelligence, when you have access to, when you need it. But one of the great things about the storehouse of intelligence is the ability you have to witness it and draw upon it with clarity. And the great experience of spiritual awakening or a spiritual expansion is that you begin to see more deeply, with a brighter lens, all that you know, even what you don't know. So you start to feel through the mind, in depth, the intelligence of the universe, not the knowing exactly, but the clarity of things that can be known. That there is a collective body of us, and it's wonderful now in this pandemic period to see so many people with brilliant minds and intellects working for the benefit of all of us in a collective way to give us greater health, comfort, joy, health, and security. And that's really to see the collective at work. But to see the individual mind at work, you just have to allow yourself penetration of intellect, and that's through the third eye. If you bring your attention to the third eye, and you begin to go deep, you begin to see more clearly. Not that you see the storehouse of stuff, but you see the mechanism which perceives. And that mechanism starts to announce itself to you. And as you go really deep, you see it comes from something way, way beyond you. You have access to it. It's part of your being, but it knows way more than you know. And that's where trust comes in, because you cannot go to the absolute depth of knowing and clarity, but you can trust that all of that is inside you and it's working for you. Get out of your own way and it will instruct you. It will help you to find the thing you need, to look for what you have lost, to find your way through the thicket of the world. That intelligence is right here. Breathe into that space and open it, and the intelligence of seeing, knowing through the visible realm of being, and even the invisible, comes from here. There's another form of intelligence that's in your heart. Heart intelligence is the expression of love for being. It allows for you to reach out and trust your emotional life to others and to your deepest, deepest sense of self. It is a kind of knowing where safety is, who can be loved safely, who you cannot love, but you can understand and see and empathize with and know in a deep and profound way. You may know to allow them in, not to let them in. You will have a directive coming through your heart at all times that guides you through life. Open to and love this one. You do not have to open to and love everyone as a material world being, but as an immaterial being, you will love the world. You will love being itself. As this goes really deep, it stops to create dichotomies and separations and hierarchies. It just opens. And there's an ocean of love inside you that's available to you, to you. And it is the most redemptive, protective, soulful, purposeful part of your being. It knows that it's endlessly safe. It was there before you were born. It was love that brought you into this world, and it's love that will grasp you and take you back when you leave. And then there's the intelligence of the navel chakra. This is intuition. It's intuitive. It's a kind of knowing that bypasses the brain, if you will, bypasses love, or maybe integrates them in a way, but it comes down to your navel chakra and it says, this way, trust me, this way, follow me, follow this, whatever it is. It's a voice, it's a knowing, it's a not knowing, but it's a thing that basically says, trust me. Many of us hear it, many of us don't listen to it. It's the voice that says you do not need that extra cookie. And that voice goes, oh, well, you don't listen to this thing. But when you start to pay deep attention to it, it doesn't lead you the way you want to go. It leads you the way you need to go. And if you trust it, it will lead you through to the ultimate moment of your life. And if there will ever be a true moment of needing to trust, the last moment of your life will be that. It's either at that moment, yes, or not yet. Getting to that is a life's practice. One of the reasons Rudy said that this is a life's work is because it doesn't end. You use these levels of intelligence to guide you through this universe. And at times you will see the intelligence of the universe shining back at you directly and also indirectly through the entire social fabric and cultural life that we live. That's the moment we're in right now. We are being shown so much. One of the great things being shown is how small, how delicate, and how insignificant we are separately and individually. We might as well be a pack of hornets. You know, we're just things. And we are all impacted by each other. We all affect each other. We can give love to each other. We can give death to one another. It is a powerful thing, and we are seeing that. And it makes us very, very small and very insignificant unless you go inside. And if you go inside and deepen into your third eye and deepen into your heart and into your navel chakra, and you can also use your throat chakra and your sex chakra and your upper chakras in the top of your head and at the base of your spine. These are all of these chakras that lead you on a journey through this larger intelligence, which right now is blasting into the world and saying to you, wake up. Life as it was is not life as it is now. It is different. How it will continue to be, we're going to find out. None of us really know. The collective experience right now is being pulled away. We are being thrown into our own individual identity, family identity perhaps, but mostly into yourself. If you take advantage of this time and you really open to the intelligence of it, you will be instructed in how to move day by day by day. And if you pay attention, it will bring you where you must go, whether that is into an expanded, joyful communal life or into a much more serious separation from life, or even into death itself. We don't know. We don't know. All I can tell you is trust the journey. Trust it. This is a time of profound need to trust. And the deeper you go in these spaces, which is a meditative act, the deeper you go, you will find yourselves drawn to the source of intelligence in your mind, in your heart, and in your belly. And those intelligences are part of something so indescribably big and vast that we are getting a glimpse of as world body. Something so big, so enormous, that the little mind doesn't know how to relate to it. What do you say to the vast intelligence other than bring it on? Something is happening here. We are all part of it. This is either a punishment or a gift, however your mind wants to play with it. But I will tell you, if you can open up to this as an opportunity to witness an intelligence way beyond our personal intelligence, something even beyond our communal intelligence, something so big and so vast that knows what it's doing. And I do not pretend to understand it, but I know it is. And I know I am one with that. And I know you are one with that. We are not separate from it. We are either in touch with the dimensionality that allows us to know this connectivity, or we're not. If you're not, sit still, take a breath, ask for help to open, and find this, because you're being given the time, you're being given the opportunity, and you're being given the stimulus to do that very thing. This is an enormous time for all of us. It's an enormous time. It's rich with opportunity, rich. It's also rich with struggle and the potential for great disturbance, intellectually, emotionally. On every level, there's anxiety and stress and fear and all of those other things coming into play. The only person in the world who can help you is you. And because we're all relatively helpless, one thing you can do, sit still, ask for help, and go inside and touch what I'm talking about. If you touch it, you will be soothed, you will be comforted, you will be helped, and you will begin to witness the intelligence that is operating in all of us, collectively and separately, and in the universe that we inhabit. We are the embodiment of that intelligence. We have come here to be wise in our ways, to be the givers of wisdom, and to be the recipients of wisdom. And if we do that, we will have benefited ourselves, people around us, and we will have served the very source of intelligence, which uses us to express itself in its creation. So own this, be grateful for it. Don't get sloppy, keep it going. Don't project it into the future, because the future is not important right now. Present tense is everything. Being intelligent is being here now. Thank you for being here now. Questions? Yes. Jenna.
Being here now, sitting here today, I found myself kind of very distracted by some things that are very drawn in. Some things, you know, you might call intelligent. I remember you talked about your process when maybe you were sitting and you were writing, that before you got to that still place, you would write things down. And I find myself, I'm still going to what I call the store of, you know, like, oh, I should know what it is I should buy for dinner or something like that, right? And I think in my practice, it's been the practice of going by the store, trying not to go into the store of knowing and being present. And again, I'm just reminded that I guess even Gandhi gets distracted. So I guess the answer is just to sit more. But I just wanted to ask you about those things that come up that may be quite intelligent as you're meditating, and what to do with that.
We all get distracted. I mean, a little distraction that you give your complete attention to can take you for a journey for a week or two into something not worthwhile. One of the great lessons that I have been learning over the course of time, and I've said this before, is just go, nope. To any distraction that comes up that you know is not worth it, just go, nope. And it has to have the power to actually disconnect you from the distraction. Recognize the distraction and go, nope. If you fight with the distraction or you struggle to get separate from it, it's already got you. It owns you. All distraction tries to do is get you for however long, and it comes in very subtly. And then suddenly there you are off on this, what can be hours, days, months, years of a life distraction. The trick is when you begin to recognize what is distraction, you just go, nope. If you can do it that simply, like flicking off a fly, you've got it. You will not go on that side trip. You don't need to go there. But it's a practice, and you have to do it all the time. And I will tell you, on the death journey, when you actually leave this world, the distractions that are going to come at you are unbelievable. There are going to be so many powerful distractions. And if you don't have that muscle to go, no, not going there, you don't get to go back to yourself. You get to go off on these side trips into things that you left undone or felt were inappropriate or regrets or whatever you have. You know, they take you on that side journey. And I've been there. You do not want to go there. You want the purity of yes or trust. Just go. And you let go of all these things that come in to pull you in another direction. It's a muscle. It is just, and Rudy called it the muscle of letting go, surrender, let it go, let it go. But if you don't practice again, you will fail. That's all I can tell you. If you don't practice, you fail. So practice. Sit down when you meditate and watch the storehouse of distractions that start to come in. And if you get, I can't deal with all these distractions, they've got you. They own you. But if the distraction comes in and you go, nope, 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 you will be shocked at how easy it is not to go there. And the power, the muscle of that, which you might think is like lifting 1,000-pound weights, is really like lifting a feather. Nope, 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 nope. That's actually the strongest person there is spiritually. The ones who just goes, nope, nope, nope. And then you just enter into an arrangement with the present tense with the now. The now is very still, it's very quiet, it's very embracing, it's very loving. And if you feel it, you will not need to go to these other places. And if they come up and you go there and you go on the journey, at any point along the way, you can go, okay, this isn't good. This isn't where I want to be. This isn't how I want to do it. And you bring yourself back to the altar or to the sitting space that you have, and you start over. And rather than go into the blame game of, oh my God, I just wasted a month or a week or 5 hours in this other stuff, bring yourself back quietly, simply, sit still and open. That practice makes you strong. And that strength is worth having. And you really can understand that in a period like this. It's really a remarkable time in our lives. And it's making you realize you can't go to the movies, you can't watch the baseball game or the basketball game today. You know, you've streamed every program there is to stream. You have where can you go? And all those things are probably going to be taken away from us for a period of time, and maybe a long time. Where do you go? How many books can you read? Just sit still and feel this thing, and you will discover it is everything. It's the source of every movie you would go to, every book you would read, every concert you would go to. It's the very source, and the richness and density of your inner being is the place from which all creation manifests. Go there. Just sit there. It will entertain you, not with distraction, but with unbelievable, wow, wow. It's amazing. And if you walk out down the street, every bird that goes by, every tree that's in blossom, everything is an expression of this wow. And so your primary interior reaction to the living experience will be, we call it wow, or the other side of that, gratitude. Like, wow, look what I'm seeing, look what I'm feeling, look what's manifesting, look what's here. It is so rich and beautiful, and I don't need anything else but this moment. And then that moment will lead you to go to the bathroom, to wash your hands, to cook dinner, to watch a TV show, to get ready for bed. All of these rhythmic things happen, and you will feel that you are in flow with all of this, that there is an intelligence that makes you tired, that makes you wake up in the morning, that tells you when you wake up, look out the window, look at the trees, they're blossoming. I mean, here they are. I don't know about San Rafael or that you're, Petaluma, but I know there's always something there that can make you remember, wow, wow. And that is enough. It's just enough. And then you can maybe become creative, in your own way, write something out of nothing, paint something, take a photograph, make some music. There's the opportunity to give back, to create, to put into the equation is a great opportunity. And if you want to do that, it's better than sitting around crying that, you've seen everything there is to see on television, which is a horrible place to get to. So we're all in solitary confinement on some level. How do you use that? Solitary is an absolute doorway to the truth, because ultimately it is all one. And the creator and the creation are one thing. And if there's ever a sense of singularity and solitary, it's the universe itself. And that universe itself, in its brilliance and its creativity and its intelligence, has created the story of us. And here we are, trying to remember who created us and going back to that special place. Anyone else? Do you have another question?
Yeah, I've gotten to the creative place, been playing music and maybe even some art. I'm getting what you're saying is actually, for me, I guess, developing that muscle of letting go is more important than maybe jotting those great creative ideas that come up as I sit. But I remember that you used to do that. You said that when you were writing, at first you'd have ideas, you'd jot them down, and then a quiet place would come.
Yep. Yeah, I'm doing that now. I'm writing a show for Las Vegas, and it's back to Hollywood stuff, because it's not just me, it's all these other people come in and want all these changes, and I have to take a breath over and over and over again and go, okay, this is the way they want it. This is how it has to happen. And it's very frustrating, but it's such a great test for me because I can feel conflicted and stressed by it, or I can go, oh, there's conflict and there's stress. What can I do? Take a breath and sit down and work. Do the work. And then there's this amazing thing of suddenly connecting to what others are trying to say and what they want and how it funnels through what you're doing. And it suddenly makes itself known. And there's an alignment that works. It's process. It's the whole idea of creativity involving others, which it always will do in the end. If you're actually creating something, others will react to it. If you're creating something you want others to really appreciate, then you have to find a way to speak to masses of people, and you have to find what is the universal principle that aligns us. How do I have the intelligence to know that which 100 million people will watch and feel connected to? I've written, lots of movies, and a lot of people have reacted to them, some more so than others, but in a way they were written, and I served the process. I was the vessel through which these things came through. A universal intelligence informed me, and I didn't get in the way of it. And ultimately, all the other people who had voices in it didn't get in the way of it because it found its way into manifestation, and these were appreciated. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go from taking notes to actually building something and creating something and putting it in the world, because it seems like the higher intelligence wants to be manifested in this world. I've often said, I think that the whole purpose of the world is for the universe itself to see what it is, for God to know who and what it is. And we are the forms of making things happen, either new bodies and new lives and, whatever, or creative things that didn't exist before. And what do we appreciate in life is the unbelievable beauty of things that many people have made. The art, the music, the theater, the symphonic moments of life. It's like we're here to witness that and go, thank you. And it's a great thing. And if you have that in you, you will have a full life. And if you don't have it in you, you'll be walking around getting bored and wanting to, hit people.
But as we sit in meditation, and for instance, the cure for cancer comes through, do you write it down or do you say no? How do you know
Why would you
in meditation when to say yes or no?
not write it down?
Write it down?
Why would you not?
Because we're trying to sit and be present, and because I can get distracted even with those things.
Well, if you get the cure for cancer, write it down.
Well, I mean,
if I'm sitting in meditation and I have an idea for something, I don't stop usually. Well, I'll tell you the truth. In the old days when I was writing regularly, I had a pad next to where I meditated. And if I had an idea, I quickly wrote it down and I continued meditating. That's what I would do. I wouldn't stop the meditation. I would just interrupt it. I would write the note down next to me, and then I would continue meditating, because there really is, I call it a layer of creativity, that as you start to meditate, you start to pass through it. And if you have something on the mind that needs to be resolved, the resolution may occur in that space. So write it down, but don't interrupt the meditation, and then go back, and then you go deeper past the place of creative acknowledgement or thought or process. You'll go into the deeper place of being. And then when you come back out of all of that, you will find the note that you need to continue for the manifest stuff in the world. Anyway, don't make it either or. You can do it all. Okay. Everybody bored? Jenny? I can't hear you. You have to put you're probably on mute. I don't know where the mute button is, but
Yeah.
where, oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. In this period of isolation, I found that rather than being deprivation, it's just a profound gift because we're not filled with, just walking around the waterfront. I don't see cars. I don't see masses of pedestrians. I just see textures and colors and interactions and that like similar to your photography, that everything is so much more vibrant because it's not cluttered. And then if you can grasp that and do something with it, it just seems, as you were saying, like this is a unique opportunity for human creativity to burst because just the solitude and any sense that anything can happen now.
I'm totally there with that. I mean, that's really how I feel. And I find my artistic part of me very vibrant at this moment in time. And I'm really, really grateful for that. To create is a gift, and of course I have a job now that requires me to create, but just my own private creation is really, really a joy. And, we're all very, in a way, many of us are very fortunate. You can look out your window and, you have San Francisco, you have the Golden Gate Bridge outside. It's like not everybody has that. But if you do have that, even if you don't, you have something. And most of us can go outside for a period of time. Yes, we have social distancing, but we can walk around and we can see and touch and feel and experience our bodies in motion. So it's a remarkable time. And if you don't create a drama about it in your head, you can actually take a period like this and use it really well. And we don't know how long it will last, and we can't project that because that will create tension. Just take it, get up in the morning, and live your day. Have your day. Look at life. Look at life. It's around you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we done?
Okay.
Well, so let me just say, I really miss you guys. It is amazing for me to get to see you and to come into your rooms. And we'll be back in a month, assuming all of this is still going on. And maybe we'll even make it something more regular. I mean, I would maybe do something else that would give us more opportunity to see each other, even if things come back to normal. I love seeing you. I love being around you. I really miss you guys so much, and it's hard, and being away from everyone. And I really love you. I really just really love you all. So thank you for showing up today, and stay well, and we will do this again. Okay.